Our next guest is a guitar player for one of the best modern rock bands around. Their Greatest Hits Volume 2, The Better Noise Years, coming out on March 19th via Better Noise Music. Get it wherever music is sold, stream it, download it, but, buy the CDs, buy the vinyl when it comes out. Welcome, Jerry Horton.
Yes, thank you very much. How are you
Papa
guys?
Roach. By the way, let me just say Jerry Horton as opposed to Tim Horton. It's a very Canadian name.
It is very much a Canadian name. Here, let me just get started before we get into the greatest hit stuff. The last time Jeremy and I saw the band, we actually got to hang out with the band in Laval, a part of the Shinedown tour. To me, what was amazing is that after all these years, the band hasn't slowed down live. You just kick ass constantly. How important is that? Yeah, I mean, honestly, how important is the live show to what you do? And obviously, since we haven't had live shows in the last year, how has that sort of changed the band, just sort of sitting on your hands?
Well, the live show is very important to us. We've worked over the years to really hone the craft of being performers. We've seen bands that don't put the work into their show, and it's cool, but to see a band who really knows how to do it live, it takes it to another level, and we want people to feel that experience and want to come back. And as far as the past year goes, it is the longest we've been home in 20 years, and we have, on one side of it, we've taken the time and really enjoyed the time with our families. And then on the other side of it, we've been working away behind the scenes, writing and recording new music and recording, video content and all this kind of stuff, so that we can have something to just kind of keep ourselves out there in this time, so that when it's time to go back out, people will say, oh yeah, let's go.
Right, because they'll be thirsty for some live music at that point,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, thirsty for some Papa Roach. Now, before I just turn it over to Jeremy, I'm going to focus just real quick on the beginning. Back in 98, 99, I worked for Metal Hammer US, the very short-lived Metal Hammer US, and they sent me the Infest album ahead of time, like 6 to 9 months ahead of time. And they said, check this out, write a review and the whole thing. And I put it on, and listen, I'm an Aerosmith fan and a Kiss fan and Guns N' Roses. I wanted nothing to do with new music, I'll be honest. And I put it on and I went, ooh, this band has something. This band will be big. And I told others, I said, watch this band, they're going to be big. This is a special album. For you at that time, did you realize that it was a special album? Did you realize that when you signed with DreamWorks that all of a sudden you made this thing and it went, yep, okay, this is next level?
We had a feeling that it was going to do something. We just had a different plan.
Right.
We like most of the bands that we knew, it was going to be a long road of playing clubs, going to radio stations, doing that promotion that, takes a while. And we had no idea that it was just going to be a rocket ship, so we knew we had something, we just didn't know it was going to go that quickly.
Yeah. And it went great. And by the way, I thank Walmart for part of that, because they banned your record everywhere and everybody was like, oh, I got to fucking hear it.
Is that true? I didn't know Walmart banned it.
They banned it because they said the word fuck in it. And they said that Last Resort was somewhat suicide based, and they had to put another song on it. And I went and bought both versions, and it was hilarious because they just bleeped stuff. They didn't take it out. So you're listening to it and you hear bleep, bleep, and you're like, no. Oh, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, I think but
it helped.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they took Blood Brothers off of the Walmart album. And so we put another song called Legacy on that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it worked out because it created a lot of controversy because
well,
at the time.
I don't think anything sells more records than controversy, right?
Yep.
It gets everybody talking. So
yeah,
probably the best thing ever.
Yeah, it was the next step from the PMRC stickers to actually ban releases, and
Yeah.
it created quite a stir. And listen, I bought both copies just to say fuck you to Walmart. But anyway,
Well, yeah, there you go. You guys released this new remastered version of "Broken as Me" with Danny from Asking Alexandria on the song. And Mitch and I were talking about this. Recently in rock music, there's a lot of collaborations going on. I work in top 40 pop radio on a daily basis, and every time, you see an Ed Sheeran interview or somebody, it's like, oh, so who's the next collab you're going to be chatting with? Who's going to be on the next track? Kind of thing. And it's all about the collab. Even in the hip hop world, what made you guys decide to, get Danny on the remix of this song for 2021?
We've been, I would say probably in the last like 5 years, we've been taking a more serious look at collaborations, and it's something that as music fans we're familiar with because hip hop guys have been doing it forever.
Yeah.
And we just thought that, yeah, why not? Not only does it give our fans a fresh texture or a fresh voice or whatever, but it also kind of brings us to their fans as well. And then for Broken as Me, it was just like, okay, well, we have the singles obviously that we're going to put on the greatest hits, and then they said, well, what other songs do you guys want to put on there? And we chose Broken as Me because it's a fan favorite. It wasn't necessarily a single, but we played it live. People love it. We love playing it. And they said, okay, well, this should be some kind of collaboration. And it wasn't even like, who should we pick? It was like, of course, Danny, because his voice is perfect for it. And he's got his own character. And so it was something that was going to be familiar enough, but also different enough. And he killed it.
Yeah, it's funny because back in the 80s, okay, collabs and duets, or the big power ballad duets. You got the Lionel Richies and Anna Ross and all this stuff. But it's like, imagine Sammy Hagar and Van Halen did a collab with Bon Jovi in 1987, 88. Like, it would never happen. Whereas today, anything's possible.
Yep.
Well, in fact, speaking of the collaborations, you also did Last Resort Reloaded with Jarris Johnson. The song is exploding all over TikTok, and the band says, hey, you know what? I kind of like this. We're going to do this too. Talk to me about that collaboration, but also the importance that social media has to the band.
Yeah, so we've been champions of social media for a long time. We really enjoy that direct connection with our fans. And then, in trying to further that, Jarris's video came up, and we had been talking about collaborating with somebody, on a reimagined version of it. And we couldn't, we threw a few names around, tried to get a hold of some people, things didn't work out. And, we said, well, okay, let's try and figure out somebody that's kind of up and coming. And, we saw that video, and at first it was kind of like the mindset was, well, this is a TikTok guy, there's just like, is he really an artist? Or is he just making videos? So, we kind of dove a little deeper and, realized that he's been doing music for a long time. He's got other stuff that he's had in the works, and we really were like into what he was doing. And so, yeah, it was funny because I think in his video he put something like, what wouldn't it be a dream come true or something like that if actual Papa Roach got on the song.
Right.
And Jacoby, he actually went down there and met with him first because he was like, well, I'm gonna see what this guy's all about. I'm not just gonna we're not gonna just jump into it.
Doing a background check on the guy. Is he a murderer?
Totally. Yeah, totally. He vetted him and all. But yeah, he they were down, and it happened, and we're stoked with the outcome. I think that it's not only is it bringing the song to younger kids, but it just like it's kind of bringing it into the new age as far as instrumentation and sonics, and I just think it's a really cool take on it. And you know, we do get some backlash of people saying, "Well, you guys ruined the song," and I always just tell them, "Look, we didn't destroy the original. If you want to hear the original, just go listen to it. It's fine."
Yep.
Right.
It's very
You know?
easy. It's very easy. You don't like something, go listen to the original. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just ask you, Jeremy and I were talking with David Coverdale the other day, and he goes back on these greatest hits, and he reimagines the songs. He strips them down. He brings up the guitar. He adds new parts. He brings in Derek Sherinian and so on and so forth. You've sort of done that with the collaborations on this greatest hits. Is that something that interests you to go back and listen to those old songs and say, man, if we just tweak this, is that something that you're interested in doing and sort of putting a fresh coat of paint on the older songs?
We do that a lot live. You know, we change maybe the song structure, we change the arrangement, we add parts, you know, we extend parts here and there. Jacoby will kind of do a freestyle over something. As far as putting, you know, re-recording stuff and putting it out, you know, we are doing that with not only with Last Resort, but we did some re-records of some older stuff, and we're using that to do some reimaginings with. I don't know that it's necessarily going to be another sort of collection thing that we may just put out song by song. But yeah, we are looking at doing that, just to not only to kind of keep ourselves interested, but I think the fans enjoy that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about guitar tones really quickly. You know, in 2021, there's so many different ways to get a guitar tone now. And I follow you on Instagram, and back in like October or something, you posted a couple of vintage amps. You had a Blockletter 5150 up there and, you know, recording some new stuff. I know you've been playing the Tempest from Schecter. Talk about modern day guitar tones, because I mean, obviously live, I'm sure you guys are using the fractals and all that stuff, but you know, in the studio, do you still go back to a vintage amp and an old school guitar and try and get like a vintage classic tone? And is there a difference between that classic tone and achieving something that's more modern sounding?
I think that the tones are achievable with the simulators and the modelers. It's just, you know, with the vintage stuff, it's really easy. You just plug it in, it's
Yeah.
there, it's its own thing. You don't have to mess with
Turn
it
it
too
to
much.
11 and it's good.
Yep, turn it to 11 and you're done. So yeah, we still record with amps. I use a mixture of Schecter and, you know, some of the other vintage stuff that Colin Britton, a producer, he's got. And yeah, it's for recording. It's just, I think it's probably like with the modelers, it's like it can get you to like 90-95%. And for most people, they probably won't hear a difference, but for people like us who know and really care about that kind of stuff, it just takes it to that last, you know, 5%.
Yeah, and you know, like, there's just something cool about going into the studio and turning that knob up. But it's like, I was interviewing somebody, and I can't remember who it was. It was like last year, and they were saying, "Yeah, I was using this vintage Marshall in the recording, but it sounded too old. We needed something a little bit more modern." And I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah, I think that I mean there's a kind of a philosophy of amongst bands and actually close, like more along the lines of engineers and producers, that if you can't get the tone with, like, you know, a Marshall or something like that, then you need to work on your playing, kind of thing.
You really
Um,
do.
Yeah,
you know, there are some people that, you know, I think maybe especially for like the metal guys where they'll need more gain or whatever, and that's totally understandable. But you can put a pedal in front of a Marshall and be good enough.
Yeah, you just boost the hell out of it.
Marshalls
Yep.
are great. Let me ask you just real quick from the band's origins. Originally, you had a trombone player, and I guess, with No Doubt and sort of the ska thing going on back in that time, was that the original sort of vision of the band, to be sort of like a No Doubt or to be sort of a ska kind of thing? And at what point did you say, all right, Ben, you gotta go. We can't do brass instruments in this band.
Well, I think vision is a little bit too intellectual of a word. I don't think there really was any vision. It was just like, we're in a small town. We don't have anything else to do. And by the way, Ben was in the band before I was. So, it was like they were their own thing. And then Jacoby called me and said, hey, become part of this. And it was partly because of the trombone where I said, I don't think it's going to work. And then, we tried doing that with the trombone for a while, and then we finally just said,
was that a tough discussion when you had to sit down with the trombone player and throw
yeah.
You think Ben saw you coming with like, that son of a bitch, another guitar player?
He was cool with it, yeah, he was cool with it. He was just like, yeah, okay, I get it. So
yeah, but if maybe he was smart, he would have grabbed the guitar and be like, I can play guitar, I can play bass.
No,
hey, listen,
he was
maybe
into other stuff. Other things.
There you go.
Who knows though? Maybe on Collection 3 we can do a remix with a trombone mix or something. But it's just interesting that at that time with No Doubt and Orange County and all that stuff breaking out, there was these bands, and then you put out Infest, and you went, fuck it, we don't need no trombone, we got guitars.
Yeah, we started on that path around like 96-ish, and we just the energy at the shows just went way up. So we got addicted to that part of it. So we're just like, yeah, we're going.
You should have seen the pee breaks on the trombone solos. Oh, it was terrible.
Mitch, what do you prefer, drum solo or trombone solo?
I'll take a trombone solo over a fucking drum solo any day. Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh my God.
Jerry, I discovered your band, because I'm a wrestling fan, and the first song I ever heard from you guys was the Monday Night Raw theme song.
Yep.
What did that song do for the band? Did it help really make you guys explode at that time and get you to a new audience, or?
It did get us to a new audience. There's a funny story that I'll tell you. We did a show in Germany with Iron Maiden, and an Iron Maiden crowd, especially in Germany, is like, you don't want to cross them. You don't want to be something that is not even close to them.
Yeah.
So we were shaking in our boots, basically. We were just like, this is an Iron Maiden crowd. Like, what are we gonna do? So we get up there and we just say, screw it. We get up there and we start playing this song, To Be Loved, and they went nuts and they were just jumping up. It was like, what? They love us. What's going on? And then later we find out that To Be Loved is the theme song for Monday Night Raw, and wrestling is just as big in Germany as it is in North America. And it was like, okay, now that makes sense. But at the time it was like, we were ready for doom and gloom, and we got like this, electric energy, and it was cool.
Yeah, and the crowd just goes off. But did you guys know that was going to be the theme for Monday Night Raw beforehand, or it just happened? You found out, you're like, wait, what?
Well, we heard that it was going to happen, but we didn't realize that it crossed over into Europe as well. So
yeah. That's
had
nuts.
no idea.
Just real quick, you mentioned Iron Maiden, of course, Bruce Dickinson, one of the greatest vocalists of all time. How do you rate Jacoby? Because his voice is so Papa Roach. It's so part of the sound. And yet when we talk about some of the greatest vocalists, we talk David Coverdale, we talk Bruce Dickinson, we talk Rob Halford, we don't talk Jacoby enough. And I think we should.
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially his vocals, his voice, and his technique and his style has gotten better over the years. And he's one of the best performers, hands down. And absolutely, I think he deserves a place amongst those names for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The times I've seen the band perform, he commands the stage. I mean,
Yep.
I mean, the whole band commands the stage, but he comes out there and he keeps you entertained. He does not stare at his feet or sit on the drum riser.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's the gig, though, isn't it? You got to go out and be able to,
Yeah,
you know.
but not
control a
everybody
crowd.
has it. Not everybody has it. Jacoby has it, and the band has it too.
Yep.
Let's not put the band down.
Yeah.
I mean, the trombone player. You know,
Yeah, the trombone player, not so much. Oh, man. Papa Roach, Greatest Hits Volume 2, The Better Noise Years, out March 19th, available wherever music is sold. Check out the energized version, the re-energized version of Broken As Me lyric video, which is actually really well done, by the way. Really good animations. I love the band has always had really great, graphics and stuff. And like you said, the social media has been a big thing. So I got to compliment you guys. You do a very good job online.
Appreciate that. Yep.
Absolutely.
It's all important. Everything's important. So
Are you guys going to be doing vinyl and like CDs of this stuff, or is it going to be just like the streaming route with this Greatest Hits Volume?
no, we are doing some different packages. We're doing a special bundle for with the vinyl, and we've gone through all of the approvals, and we're stoked how it's coming out. It looks really cool, and I think that it's going to be a cool collectible for people that really love that part of it.
right? You can't sign an MP3.
That's
No.
right.
No, go to the show and can't get your Spotify signed.
Nope, can't do it.
All right, Jerry, this is awesome. Great to meet you, man. And we'll catch up
You
next
too.
time you guys are in Montreal. We'll hang.
Yes, for sure. Thanks, you guys.
Thank
right.
you. Cheers.
Cheers. See you later.
Bye.